I watched the flames dance like they were laughing. The photo curled at the edges first. Riley's smile went before anything else burned right off his face. Then Claire's hand, the one she used to reach for, mine under the table when no one was looking, turned to black ash. I held the picture between two fingers, letting it fall into the bowl of dry leaves I dumped in the old sink in the backyard. It caught fast. It crackled like it had been waiting. Funny thing is, the fire used to make me feel safe. Growing up, Riley and I would sneak into the woods behind his house with stolen marshmallows and light tiny bonfires. It was our thing, warm, safe, private. He once said, "Nothing fake survives fire." I believed him, but that was before. I found them in my apartment. Before I lost everything I thought was real. A year ago, Riley Morgan was my best friend. Not the kind you casually knew, no. He was the day one. We'd been friends since we were kids. My mom used to call him her second son. We went through every stage of life together, scraped knees, failed tests, heartbreaks, beer runs. We even got into the same college by chance and stayed roommates all for years. He was the kind of guy people gravitated toward, charming, loud, fearless. And I was the quiet one, the writer, the thinker. Riley protected me, and I anchored him. Or so I thought. Claire Monroe walked into my life junior year. She was magnetic. In that impossible, slow burn kind of way. You didn't notice her at first until you couldn't stop noticing her. She was in one of my writing workshops. We sat next to each other every Tuesday. I lent her a pen once. She kept it for 3 weeks. Said she liked the way it made her handwriting look more honest. I told her I loved her under the clock tower during finals week. She kissed me before I could. Finished saying it. Said, "You feel like home." For 3 years, we built a life. Lazy mornings, coffee rituals, shared playlists, movie nights that always ended with her head on my chest. And Riley, he was happy for me. He said he was. But I guess some people only cheer for you when you're behind them. I don't replay the moment often, but sometimes it creeps in when I'm half asleep. I'd come home early. I was supposed to be at a conference that weekend, presenting some story idea I'd been working on. But I bailed last minute. Something felt off. Claire hadn't texted all day. Riley had gone silent too. My gut buzzed like static. The door wasn't locked. I walked in with a bag of takeout, humming. Stupid, normal, I think. Even smiled, and then I heard it, not voices. Just one sound, her laugh. It used to be my favorite. It came from my bedroom. I opened the door and saw both of them, skin on skin, breath on breath, no guilt. Just them, she gasped. Hey. I placed the takeout on the table like I'd dropped by for dinner, then I walked out. I never said a word. Not then, not after. No screaming, no punches, no begging for explanations. They reached out. God, they tried. Calls, messages, emails, apologies that felt too late to clean, but I didn't respond. I couldn't because I knew if I spoke, I'd shatter the fire pops beside me, yanking me back to now. The smell of burnt memories lingers in the cool air. I wrap my coat tighter around me and sit down on the porch step, letting my breath fog up in front of me. You know what they don't tell you about betrayal? It's not the moment it happens that hurts the most. It's all the small memories that come crawling back after. Like how Riley once punched a guy in high school for making Claire cry. Or how Claire used to trace my wrist with her thumb when I couldn't sleep. Or how the three of us used to binge-watch horror movies and argue about which of us would survive a zombie apocalypse. I trusted them. With everything. With me, and maybe that was my first mistake. But tonight I don't feel like a victim. I feel clean, empty, yes, still broken in places, but no longer bleeding. Because fire, for all its hunger, gives you one gift. It doesn't let you lie to yourself anymore. As the final ember dies, I whisper goodbye. Not to them, to who I was when I believed they loved me. I didn't move across the country, just far enough that they couldn't find me easily. Asterisk, I broke my lease 3 days after it happened. Packed up only what I needed: clothes, my old journals, and a laptop with more memories than I could handle. I left everything else behind. The couch we bought together, the photos on the fridge, the plant Riley dared me to keep alive. Dead anyway. Now I live above an antique store that smells like rust and forgotten time. Mrs. Green owns the place. She's maybe in her 70s, maybe older. She never asks questions, just smiles with eyes that feel like they've already heard the story. Asterisk, the room is small, barely fits a bed, desk, and a chair. But the lock on the door is firm. The window lets in morning light. No one knows where I am. That's all I wanted, to disappear. The calls came nonstop at first. Riley's name lighting up my screen, like a ghost that didn't know it was dead. Then Claire's voicemails full of sobs, of please, just let me explain. I never listened past the first 5 seconds. It's deleted them all. Asterisk. Then the messages came. Then emails. Then silence. And I didn't miss them. I missed the version of them I used to believe in. It's been for months now. Every Tuesday at 2 p.m. I sit across from Dr. Ava Bell in a small office that smells like peppermint and soft grief. She's in her early 40s, with glasses that make her look like she sees too much and says just enough. Her voice doesn't try to fix me. That's why I stay. You said last week you felt like a ghost, she says gently, crossing her legs. Still do, I tell her. But now I feel like the kind that knows it's dead. She nods like that. Makes perfect sense. What do you think haunts you the most? I hesitate. It's not the image. Not them together? Not anymore. Asterisk, then what? Asterisk, it's that they chose it, I say fully, silently, without warning. Asterisk, she leans in slightly. And you've never allowed them to apologize. Asterisk, they don't get that. Asterisk, why? Asterisk, I shrugged, fingers tightening in my lap, because people don't apologize out of guilt. They apologize when karma knocks on their door and they're afraid of what's on the other side. Her silence lets that hang in the air. She writes something in her notebook, then asks, do you still want them to hurt? Asterisk, I think about. That asterisk, not in the way I did. I don't want them to bleed. I want them to feel nothing. I want them to look at each other one day and realize the silence between them is louder than anything I could have screamed. Asterisk, another pause. Then she asks, and what do you feel when you sit in your room alone? Asterisk, I blink slowly. The truth is too sharp to speak, so I whisper it. Asterisk, stillness, but not peace.
Asterisk.
Asterisk, Ava watches me like she's trying to reach something. I buried too deep. Have you cried since it happened? I shake my head. Why not? Asterisk. Because if I start, I don't think I'll stop. Back in my room that night, I stare at the closed door. It used to scare me being alone with my thoughts. But now, it's like the door protects me from the outside world, from the voices I once trusted, from the weight of memory. Asterisk, sometimes I sit in the dark. No music, no books, no light, just stillness. Stillness is easier than pain. Asterisk, but somewhere deep. Another than numbness, something stirs. Not forgiveness. Not yet. Just a whisper. That maybe. There's something on the other side of this door. Asterisk, but for now, it stays shut. Asterisk and I stay on this side where they can't reach me. I thought they only stole love, but that was just the beginning. The flyer was taped to the library window. Bright red border, to gold lettering. Rising Voice Award winner. Riley Morgan, a photo underneath. Riley in a suit, holding a plaque. Asterisk next. To him, Claire. Her hand on his arm. My stomach dropped. Asterisk, I don't know why I still go near the library. Old habit, I guess. The place we used to sit for hours, bouncing ideas, scribbling storylines on napkins, laughing about what-ifs until the world outside disappeared. Asterisk, it was our dream, to co-write a book, a collection of short stories that blurred truth and fiction. We spent senior year refining the concept. The lead story was called The Other Door, about betrayal of all things. How fitting, asterisk, the idea was mine. The structure, the emotional arc, even the damn title. Asterisk, I remember pitching it to Riley in our dorm. His eyes lit up like he'd found gold. Asterisk now, it's his name under the headline. His voice on the interview. Claret, by his side, nodding along like she'd always believed in him. Asterisk, where did the idea come from? The interviewer asked, and Riley smiled. This story came from a deeply personal place, he said. Something I went through alone. Alone. The laugh that burst out of me wasn't human. It scraped from my throat like rust from a pipe. Asterisk, that night I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that stupid grin, her hand on his, arm, my idea in his mouth. Asterisk, so I walked. No jacket, no plan. Just cold rage for warmth. Asterisk, I found myself standing in front of the apartment building I'd left behind. I hadn't been back since that night. I didn't have keys anymore, but the main door was broken still. Some things never change. Asterisk, the elevator button didn't light up. I took the stairs, each one heavier than the last. When I reached our old door, I hesitated. What was I hoping for? That they'd be inside? That they'd say sorry? That I'd feel anything at all? I twisted the knob. It creaked open. Empty. The couch was gone. The pictures. Even the rug Claire used to complain about. All of it vanished, like it never belonged to anyone. I stepped inside. The walls still smelled faintly of cinnamon and cheap detergent. I sat down on the cold floor where the coffee table used to be. That's where I was standing when I saw them together. Same spot, same silence. Asterisk, I let my back hit the wall and looked up at the ceiling. The crack in the paint was still there. We used to joke it looked like a broken heart. It was a broken heart. And yet, I didn't cry. I waited. For it waited for the ache to explode inside my chest like it always did. But instead, I laughed. Low at first. Then loud, sharp, wild. It echoed against the walls like a madman's confession. Because in that moment, I realized something. Asterisk, they didn't just steal my girlfriend, or my best friend, or the story. Asterisk, they stole the part of me that believed people. Couldn't they left me hollow? But somehow, the emptiness felt honest, and for the first time in months, I felt real. The cold floor under my hands, the silence. The knowledge that I had nothing left to lose. It didn't break me, it made me clear, asterisk, and maybe. Maybe clear is stronger than whole. Asterisk, as I stood up to leave. I looked at the space where the bookshelf used to be. There was a nail still stuck in the wall. I pulled it out, pocketed it. Souvenir, they took everything. Asterisk, but now, I was going to take something back. Asterisk, I hadn't spoken to Miles in nearly 2 years. Asterisk, he was one of the few people I worked with at the publishing internship during college. Back when Riley and I were grinding for scraps of attention from small literary blogs, pitching stories no one asked for. Miles was older, sharp, cynical, but he liked good writing, and he never once pretended to be someone else. Asterisk, he also didn't show up to Riley's celebration dinner last year. That stuck with me. Asterisk, I found his number buried in an old group chat, texted, asterisk, got a minute? Need to ask about Riley? Called back in less than 5. Didn't think I'd ever hear from. You again, he said, voice flat as always. Asterisk, didn't think I'd ever want to talk about Riley again. A pause. You finally done playing dead? Asterisk, not dead. Just tired of watching the wrong people win. Exhaled like he already knew why I called. I assume you saw the award thing, he said. Asterisk, rising voice was just the start. I replied, someone told me he's being shortlisted for the National Horizon Grant. That true? Asterisk, Miles grunted. Yeah, last round of consideration. Big money. Career changer. Asterisk, I laughed bitterly. For work he didn't even write. Asterisk, there was silence for a second. Then, you still got the original drafts? Asterisk, every single one. Date stamped, tracked changes, even audio notes. Asterisk. I could hear Miles smile through the phone. Well, looks like someone kept receipts. Asterisk, I never meant to use them. Asterisk, but now, asterisk, I don't know, I admitted. Maybe I just want him to stop pretending he built something when he stole the bricks from me. Asterisk Miles paused. I'm not helping out of loyalty if that's what you're thinking. I hate cheats. Especially ones who get sloppy and smug. Asterisk, that's fair. Asterisk, he gave me an email address. Send everything tonight. I know someone on the board who'll take it seriously, especially if the timeline backs you up. Asterisk, it does. Asterisk, we hung up. My hands were shaking, not from fear, from adrenaline. Asterisk. I stared at my old laptop, the same one Riley and I used to work on in cafes, crowded dorm rooms, airport terminals. Asterisk, back then, he said we were building a legacy. Asterisk. Guess I'm just adding footnotes now. Asterisk, I opened the folder labeled Project, the other door. Asterisk, there it was. Every draft, every outline. Voice recordings with my name attached to the cloud uploads. Old emails where I sent him scenes and edits. The proof was all there. And for the first time, I realized something. I didn't have to scream to be heard. I just had to speak in the right direction. Asterisk, Ava noticed it immediately during our next session. You're different today, she said, gently. I looked at her. How? Asterisk, less fog, more focus. Asterisk, I leaned back on the couch. I did something yesterday. Something that feels like power. Asterisk, she raised an eyebrow. Want to talk about it? Asterisk, I hesitated, then said, I reached out to someone. About Riley? About what he took? Asterisk, she folded her hands in her lap. And what do you hope happens now? Asterisk, that the truth does what it's supposed to do? Asterisk, and what's that? Asterisk, burn. Asterisk, her voice softened. Eli, I need to ask you something important, asterisk. Go ahead. Asterisk, are you doing this to heal or to hurt? I looked at her for a long moment, then I smiled. It didn't reach my eyes. Asterisk, both. Asterisk, she nodded slowly. It's honest. And honesty is a good place to start. It's asterisk. But later that night, as I sat with the email draft open, my finger hovering over the send button, something inside me whispered a different truth. Maybe it wasn't just about healing or hurting. Maybe it was about being seen again, because somewhere along the line, I stopped existing in their story. But now, I was writing my own. I didn't sign the email. Asterisk just attached the files. Everything. Drafts, timestamps, voice notes, email chains. Titled the folder, Truth, regarding Riley Morgan's original work. Asterisk, I used a burner account. No name, no clues, just the work. And then I hit send. No fanfare, no fireworks. It's just a quiet whoosh. It's like the sound of something being released into the wild. Something that didn't belong to me anymore. Asterisk. Expected to feel panic. Or regret. Asterisk, but what I felt was nothing. Asterisk. Not numbness. Not peace. Just stillness. The kind you feel before a storm. Asterisk. Asterisk. It didn't take long, asterisk, 2 days later. Twitter caught fire. Asterisk screenshots. Accusations. Side by side. Comparisons of my story drafts with Riley's award-winning piece. Reddit threads dissecting the timeline. Some anonymous user on a forum posted Riley's name alongside the word plagiarist in bold, flaming letters. It spread fast. The National Horizon Grant issued a statement. Due to concerns about the originality of the submitted work, Riley Morgan's application has been suspended pending formal review. Claire's name didn't show up at first, but her face did in clips from interviews. Still smiling next to him like she'd never broken a thing in her life. Asterisk, that smile cracked 3 days later when her PR firm dropped her. Asterisk, their statement was brutal. We do not condone dishonesty or association with intellectual theft. I didn't celebrate. I didn't post anything. Didn't tell Ava. Didn't even respond to Miles' text. Boom. Told you the truth bites. Asterisk. But I did stare at my laptop for a long time, watching the tide turn. Asterisk. Then one night, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Jenna. Asterisk. Riley's current girlfriend. The one I'd only ever seen in photos. Arms looped through his like she belonged there. Asterisk. I almost didn't open it, but curiosity is louder than caution. Jenna, you don't know me, but you should know he's still lying, even now. Asterisk. I stared at the screen. Asterisk me. Why are you telling me this? Her reply came fast. Jenna, because I stayed quiet when I shouldn't have, and that's eating me alive. Asterisk. A moment later, second message arrived. 3 attachments, photos of other drafts, notes, screenshots. Riley had been copying other writers' 2 blog posts, short stories from unpublished writers, even lines from poetry forums. Asterisk. Jenna, he built his castle out of stolen bricks. You weren't the first. You were just the deepest cut. My chest tightened. She added one last message. Asterisk. Jenna, I always wondered how he got that story so raw. Now I know. You bled for it. I'm sorry. I swallowed hard. Then I sent it all, every file Jenna gave me, to the same award committee. Same burner account. Just 1 sentence in the body. Asterisk. There's more. Asterisk. Asterisk. Riley was officially suspended 2 days later. Asterisk. All his active projects were pulled from shelves pending review. His speaking engagements were canceled. And for the first time in weeks, his name vanished from trending lists. Asterisk. No one said thank you. No one knew it was me. That was the point. But Jenna messaged again. Jenna, they're falling apart. You can probably hear it from there. I typed slowly. Me. Why did you stay with him? She took a while. Jenna, because people like Riley make you believe their lies are your fault. I wasn't brave enough to walk away. Then she added, Jenna, but you were. You're not like them. I didn't know what to say, so I didn't. Asterisk. But I kept reading her words over and over. Asterisk. You're not like them. Maybe that was the first time anyone had said that since it all went to hell. And maybe I wanted it to be true. Asterisk. Asterisk. That night, I sat on my bed with the lights off. Asterisk. I didn't feel like the victim anymore. Asterisk. Not the ghost. Not the guy they left behind. Asterisk. I was the reason their throne was cracking. Asterisk. And I didn't even have to raise my voice. Asterisk. Truth did all the work for me. Jenna was right. They built everything on stolen pieces. Asterisk. I just lit the match and let it all fall. I hadn't seen Mason in 5 years. Asterisk. The knock came mid-afternoon, just as I was heating water for tea. I didn't even glance at the peephole, just opened the door like an idiot. Asterisk. And there he was. Same crooked smile. Same tired eyes. Asterisk. He looked older, smaller. Somehow I stared. He said, Hey, Eli. Asterisk. I didn't move. Didn't speak. Asterisk. He held up both hands, like a man walking into a war zone without armor. I know I'm the last person you want to see. I heard about Riley. I thought maybe now's the time. Asterisk. The time for what? Asterisk. He didn't say asterisk. Asterisk. We sat in the tiny living room, 2 mismatched chairs, chipped mug between us. Asterisk. He looked around. This your place? Asterisk. No. I said, just passing through life. Asterisk. He chuckled. That's what I've been doing too. Silence. Then he took a breath and said it. Asterisk. I have cancer. The words hung in the air like smoke, thick, choking, impossible to ignore. Stage 4. Liver, he added, as if the location made a difference. Asterisk. I looked at his hands. They trembled slightly. I hadn't noticed before. Asterisk. He took a sip of water and looked at me. I'm not here to make you cry, Eli. I'm not even here to fix anything. I wanted to see you, before it's too late. Asterisk. Asterisk. Mason and I were never close. Asterisk. He was always the golden child, the one Dad paraded in front of guests. The one who got away with everything, until he didn't. Until he got caught forging Dad's signature for money. And suddenly the pedestal shattered. Asterisk. Dad didn't yell. He disowned him. Asterisk. And I didn't reach out. I let him fall alone. I didn't know that still haunted him. Until now? Asterisk, asterisk, he leaned back, eyes closed. You know what sucks the most? Dad betrayed me before I even knew what betrayal felt like, and I still kept waiting for him to say sorry. Asterisk, I blinked. That word, sorry. Asterisk, he opened his eyes. But some people don't say sorry. They just die, and you're left with a wound that never scabs over. Silence. Then he looked at me, softer this time. Asterisk, I read the article. About Riley, about Claire. I stiffened. I know you don't need advice from me, he continued. But can I say something? Asterisk, I didn't nod. Didn't speak, he said it anyway. Forgiveness isn't weakness. It's just letting go of a weight that won't carry you forward. Asterisk, I scoffed. They didn't just hurt me, they broke me. Asterisk, he nodded like he understood. I know, and you're allowed to be angry. But be angry in motion, not in circles. Asterisk, asterisk, he didn't stay long. Just a couple of hours. Long enough to share stories about childhood I'd forgotten. Long enough to laugh once genuinely. And long enough to leave behind something heavier than grief. Perspective. Mortality. Asterisk, he hugged me before he left. I didn't return it right away. But I didn't pull away either, before walking out. He said, don't wait until you're dying to start living. Asterisk. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not because of Riley, not Claire, but because of a memory I hadn't thought of in years. Asterisk. Mason teaching me to ride a bike in the alley behind our house. Me crying, him holding the seat steady, saying I won't let go until you're ready. And he did and I did. Asterisk, I let go first. Asterisk, asterisk, now he was dying. Asterisk, and suddenly. Revenge didn't feel quite as victorious. Asterisk, not because they didn't deserve it, but because maybe I deserved peace more than they deserved punishment. Maybe, asterisk, I didn't know yet. But Mason's words clung to my chest like frost. Be angry in motion, not in circles. I wrote her a letter. It started simple. Claire, I don't know why I'm doing this, but the words kept coming, like they'd been waiting. Buried beneath ash and bone. Asterisk, I wrote for hours. No breaks, no edits. Asterisk, just truth. Asterisk, asterisk, you didn't just cheat. Asterisk, you emptied me. Asterisk, you took the version of myself I liked best and left him face down in a mirror I couldn't recognize. Asterisk, but I survived you. I filled myself again. Asterisk, I bled until I dried up, and then I became something else, something harder, sharper, maybe. Sadder, asterisk, but still whole. Asterisk, asterisk, the letter was 5 pages long. Single-spaced. Messy handwriting. Tear stains on the second page, folded it 3 times, slid it into an envelope, and stared at it. For a long time, there was no address written on it. Asterisk, because I already knew I wasn't going to send it. Asterisk. Some things are meant to be released, not received. Asterisk, I walked outside and stood in the alley behind Mrs. Green's shop. The sun had just set, but the sky still glowed, soft and orange like something freshly bruised. I lit a match, held it to the corner of the envelope. Asterisk watched it. Catch. Asterisk, the flames danced slow at first, then wild. Pages curled inward like they were ashamed of their own words. Asterisk, I didn't cry. I didn't smile. I just watched my pain become smoke. Later, sat across from Dr. Ava Bell. She looked at me like she already knew something had changed. Asterisk, you. Look. Lighter, she said. Asterisk, I shrugged. I guess I'm done chasing ghosts. Asterisk. She tilted her head. And what about the part of you that still waits for answers? Asterisk, I gave a small laugh. That part finally got tired. Asterisk, asterisk, that night. My phone rang. Riley, I stared at the screen. My finger hovered over the red button, but something maybe. Curiosity, maybe weakness, made me answer. I said nothing. He did. Asterisk, Eli, oh my God. You picked up. Silence. Then a sob. Asterisk, man. I know I'm the last person you want to hear from, but I need you to know I'm sorry. For everything I messed up, ruined it all. You were my brother. I should have protected that. More sobbing. Muffled. I don't care if you scream or hang up, just, I wanted to say it. Wanted. To try, can we fix this? Maybe not what we had, but something. Please, I took a breath, and then I spoke. Asterisk, some bridges are built to burn. Asterisk, click. Asterisk, asterisk. The silence afterward was louder than his voice. But it didn't ache. It didn't claw. At my chest, the way I expected. Asterisk, it felt. Final, not in a tragic way, in a clean way. Asterisk. Like walking out of a house that no longer feels like home and locking the door behind you. Asterisk, asterisk. Mrs. Green found me sitting on the front steps around midnight. Asterisk, she didn't say anything, just handed me a blanket and a warm mug of tea. Asterisk, I looked up at the stars and whispered, I think I'm okay. Asterisk, she smiled. It took you long enough. Asterisk, asterisk, the truth is, healing isn't loud. It doesn't throw parades or throw punches. Sometimes, healing is just answering a phone call, it's hanging up. Sometimes it's writing a letter you never send and setting it on fire. Asterisk. I wrote her a letter. It started simple. Claire, I don't know why I'm doing this, but the words kept coming, like they'd been waiting. Buried beneath ash and bone. Asterisk, I wrote for hours. No breaks, no edits. Asterisk, just truth. Asterisk, asterisk, you didn't just cheat. Asterisk, you emptied me. Asterisk, you took the version of myself I liked best and left him face down in a mirror I couldn't recognize. Asterisk, but I survived you. I filled myself again. Asterisk, I bled until I dried up, and then I became something else, something harder, sharper, maybe. Sadder, asterisk, but still whole. Asterisk, asterisk, the letter was 5 pages long. Single-spaced. Messy handwriting. Tear stains on the second page, folded it 3 times, slid it into an envelope, and stared at it. For a long time, there was no address written on it. Asterisk, because I already knew I wasn't going to send it. Asterisk. Some things are meant to be released, not received. Asterisk, I walked outside and stood in the alley behind Mrs. Green's shop. The sun had just set, but the sky still glowed, soft and orange like something freshly bruised. I lit a match, held it to the corner of the envelope. Asterisk watched it. Catch. Asterisk, the flames danced slow at first, then wild. Pages curled inward like they were ashamed of their own words. Asterisk. I didn't cry. I didn't smile. I just watched my pain become smoke. Later, sat across from Dr. Ava Bell. She looked at me like she already knew something had changed. Asterisk you. Look. Lighter, she said. Asterisk, I shrugged. I guess I'm done chasing ghosts. Asterisk. She tilted her head. And what about the part of you that still waits for answers? Asterisk, I gave a small laugh. That part finally got tired. Asterisk, asterisk, that night. My phone rang. Riley, I stared at the screen. My finger hovered over the red button, but something maybe. Curiosity, maybe weakness, made me answer. I said nothing. He did. Asterisk, Eli, oh my God. You picked up. Silence. Then a sob. Asterisk, man. I know I'm the last person you want to hear from, but I need you to know I'm sorry. For everything I messed up. Ruined it all. You were my brother. I should have protected that. More sobbing. Muffled. I don't care if you scream or hang up, just, I wanted to say it. Wanted. To try, can we fix this? Maybe not what we had, but something. Please, I took a breath, and then I spoke. Asterisk, some bridges are built to burn. Asterisk, click. Asterisk, asterisk. The silence afterward was louder than his voice. But it didn't ache. It didn't claw. At my chest, the way I expected. Asterisk, it felt. Final, not in a tragic way, in a clean way. Asterisk. Like walking out of a house that no longer feels like home and locking the door behind you. Asterisk. Asterisk. Mrs. Green found me sitting on the front steps around midnight. Asterisk. She didn't say anything, just handed me a blanket and a warm mug of tea. Asterisk. I looked up at the stars and whispered, I think I'm okay. Asterisk. She smiled. It took you long enough. Asterisk. Asterisk. The truth is, healing isn't loud. It doesn't throw parades or throw punches. Sometimes, healing is just answering a phone call, hanging up. Sometimes it's writing a letter you never send and setting it on fire. Asterisk.